Welcome to Kicking It Local, the podcast all about the football community in South Australia. I'm your host, Johnny Kecko. Macron Sports Hub Adelaide are ready to provide your club, academy or organisation with all its teamwear needs. For inquiries or online shopping, head to macronstoreadelaide.com.au. The Australian and New Zealand 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup was a little while ago now, but the stories still live on with us, and well, we got to keep sharing these stories because there's so many memories going around, and I've shared ones from the media. We've still got a lot more stories to share, but today we're going to share the stories from the fans, and we've got some fans who are going to share their stories with us today. I am joined by WNPL player Ali Atkins and amateur footballer as well in Pablo Fagundes. Thank you both for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Johnny. It's a pleasure to be here.
You both play football. Pablo, you play amateurs, and Ali, you play in the WNPL. Both love playing football, but you're both massive supporters. We're going to talk about the World Cup because not only did you watch games here in Adelaide, you're a Brazilian yourself, Pablo, so you love that Brazilian game. We're going to talk about that here in Adelaide because it was a great moment, and I think it was one of my favourite moments coming down to the Gov before that big game. So we're going to talk about that, but also talk about the trips that you guys did to Sydney for the final and also New Zealand because it was very cool to see what was on offer here in Australia, and you guys made the most of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. And as you said, the moment that when Brazil was playing in Adelaide was like
It was a highlight.
there was a highlight in this World Cup.
It's it was a special time, and for you as well, Ali, as a WNPL player, what was that like to have the World Cup here on our home shore?
Yeah, it was so cool. I think I was astounded by how many people got around it.
Yeah,
like I really didn't expect it to go off as much as it did for people to watch, even to come to the games. To be honest, but yeah, it was just incredible, like seeing how many people were watching. Yeah, just all the
11
support.
million
Yeah,
at one
wow.
point. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so good. So I mean, that's great for me seeing, like, as a female footballer myself. Like growing up, I feel like the women's game never got that attention, not even close.
Yeah.
And only in recent years it started to like grow more and more. And this World Cup has just been like next level. Yeah.
It's been good. And let's go straight into the bit about the World Cups. You're no stranger to a World Cup. You just came back 6 months ago that's a bit over that now, but to the Qatar World Cup, the Men's World Cup. What was that like in December? There's a lot of talk about what it was going to be like, and not many people knew what to expect. But you went over there on a solo trip. What was that like to experience that?
Yeah, it was very wild. A lot of people call me crazy for going there by myself, like a young girl going to Qatar by herself. I really didn't know what to expect going in.
Were you nervous or?
I was. Like, just before I left, I got really nervous. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? But I had been to the previous World Cup in Russia. So I was experienced enough to know how it works. And I actually knew that I would be safe. Like, for a World Cup, it's very, very organized, very policed. Like, everyone is there for a reason, and the country is not going to want anything bad to happen. It's all about football. Like, it's nothing but positivity, I think. So, like, I knew that already going in, that it would be great. But yeah, Qatar was actually one of the best times of my life. Like, it was so positive. I met people from all around the world. It was like a dream, honestly.
I can imagine. And you got to see Australia in a great run, a historic run as well. What was that like to be there amongst other Australians? Because we'll talk about what it was like with the Matildas here, because for me as a fan, going into state, I didn't realise I knew here in Adelaide what it was like, but going into state it was everyone. It's weird. What was it like being in another country?
It was surreal, really. I only met one other person from Adelaide. And then when we, before the game, we would meet at this pub that was had an Australian vibe. and it was just, I don't know, it was so special because there wasn't many of us there, especially compared to other fans from other nations. Like by far, we were very, very small. And I think that made like the bond between us even stronger. But yeah, it was really, really surreal.
What was the moments like in the crowd? How did it feel being in the crowd watching them?
Like, honestly, it was breathtaking. And it was so, we were all so nervous all the time.
Yep.
Especially in our last 2 group games and, of course, the game against Argentina. But we were like, we need to win this.
Yeah.
And then especially the last group game against Denmark when it was being played at the same time as the other group stage game, like everyone like had their phones out at the same time while watching the game. Everyone was holding on to each other. People we never even met. Like I met a friend and we ended up sitting next to each other and we were just on edge the whole time.
Yep.
But then like when we scored, it was just insane. And then when we won, it was just like, I've never smiled as much in my life.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's incredible. And coming back to Australia, there was huge. It was great here to see what had happened over there and the excitement for when players came back home. We had Craig Goodwin, the lone South Australian, on the flight by himself here to Adelaide. He wasn't by himself because I was at the airport waiting for him to film him. Pablo was there as well, not for Craig Goodwin. He was there for you.
Yeah, we were on the same flight.
Yeah, so what was that like being on the flight with Craig Goodwin? Because you wouldn't have known that there was going to be a crowd there because
no, not at all.
they were very secretive in the way they did that because I think his girlfriend put it in the group on the Red Army and on Facebook page, and then on Twitter, I think A-League Memes put it out as well. But what they did, everyone blocked Craig Goodwin so that he couldn't see the post about it, so he had no idea.
That's so good.
His girlfriend told us told everyone the flight, and everyone went down there. It was incredible. Hundreds of people down there. Yeah. What was it like for you coming off the plane? Because everyone was chanting and cheering.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I saw him first on the plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I went up and spoke to him. Obviously, like it's like a 13-hour flight, so we had a lot of time. So I spoke to him a little bit on the plane, and then it's like a very long process, obviously, when you arrive back at the airport. So in baggage claim, I was like standing next to him, chatted to him, got photos on like his signature and stuff, but just very, very normal. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, cool. I actually, even then I didn't expect there to be a crowd. Yeah. But as we were going through the last part of customs, I could start hearing people. Yeah. And I was like, oh, makes sense. They're all here to see him, but like coming out to that was pretty cool. And because I had my like Australia stuff on, like everyone still clapped and it was really cute.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because every time someone walk out, I reckon there was how many people were walking out that everyone was chanting.
Oh, there's so many. Yeah, every time there was a guest, they were like, oh, it's not this time. And then like for maybe 30 or 40 people until Craig Goodwin shows up.
Yeah, and then everyone swarmed him, which was really cool to see. And he had time for everyone, which is...
he's a really lovely human being. Yeah.
It was great to see. And that was a little bit of something that we didn't realize. That was just a taste of what we're going to expect 8 months later with our Women's World Cup here in Australia. Let's move into this because now this is a good topic to talk about because there was so many good experiences. I've spoken with people in the media about the experiences in that area. I had the privilege of doing both, which was cool. I saw the media side of things, but also the fan side of things. Not as much in Adelaide. It was more in interstate with the Matildas games. But for you two as a fan, what was it like, especially you, Pablo, being a Brazilian, and then Brazil being selected in the draw to be here in Adelaide? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. At the beginning, when we saw Brazil was gonna play in Adelaide, was very, very nice. But when it got in the day and we had a party organized by the Brazilians, by Segue Baile and the people, and there was so many people, so many famous people coming from Brazil. And then they realized it was like, oh, this is going to be big. And all the media, ESPN, Global, which is a huge broadcasting in Brazil, and all the newspaper and everything, they came to the same place. And then we were like, oh my God, we are surrounded by superstars in Brazil. And then like, this is going to be so nice. And then from that night, the energy of bringing to the stadium was already like massive. And we saw like some people from Panama dancing, which was very cool. And that like brought the fan thing of the World Cup. Yeah, and inside the stadium was incredible. I think we were in this very nice spot. We were singing the whole game. We had just over 13,000 people in the stadium. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was sold out, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But the party at the Gov, that was something special because
It was.
Very good.
you told me about it, Ali, and then after that, I was advocating to everyone. I was saying, get down there, make sure you get your tickets.
Yeah.
And then there was Antonis Pagonis, one of the local writers here for Front Page Football. I had him on to talk about his experiences. He brought it up. He goes, he didn't really want to go, but at the last moment, I was messaging him, so I still got a spare ticket. Come down. I forced him. He came down. He would have regretted not going because it was something amazing to be a part of. 650 people in that room all together.
Yeah, it was great.
And then thousands blocking off Port Road at peak hour as well. That was something I didn't expect to see.
Yeah, that was massive, and like knowing so many friends and then so many people that came from Brazil for that. Ali had so many interviews because she was the one looking like Brazilian,
Australian, who was there. But no, Sego Bali did a great job organizing that.
It was very well put together. I think it was one of the best pre-games I've seen in the whole World Cup that I got to experience firsthand. It was incredible. The passion that the Brazilians have, and it's good to see that that's here in South Australia. That's a lot of them were locals.
Yes,
which was really cool. And you guys made it on TV as well. What was that like to be there and seeing yourself on the big screen?
She can explain better than anyone what happened.
It was a bit embarrassing for myself personally because I got caught at a bit of a moment. I happened to, in that exact moment the camera was on us, Pablo was singing his heart out to the anthem, as the Brazilians do. And I just happened to realize I had lost the scarf that I got in Qatar when I saw Brazil playing Qatar.
Oh.
And it was in that exact moment that the camera was on me, and then I was like, oh my gosh, where is it? And then the camera just stayed on us until we realized. But,
Did you find the scarf again? Or
I
not?
actually did. We got a message when we got back from New Zealand from one of Pablo's friends that they picked it up on the street
that was
out
one
the
of my
front.
friends that saw the video, and she was like,
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I'm very lucky about that.
yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. That's how good's that the community. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
But to see someone like Marta as well on the pitch here in Adelaide, how was that for you both to see that, especially as a female footballer and yourself as a
Crazy.
Brazilian, Pablo? What was that like?
For me, it was insane. When I was younger, I would only have 2 female footballer posts. So I had my room covered in posters.
Yep.
And Marta was the only real female icon that I had growing up. It was always Marta. So being able to see her in Adelaide as well, which is crazy. But I was lucky enough, one of my good friends, Mel, got me as a signed jersey from Marta and a lot of other Brazilian players.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That
just
was when they
literally
were here in
9-year-old.
Adelaide?
Yeah, when they're in Adelaide, 9-year-old me would just be unbelievable.
Yeah.
As soon as they got here, because they stayed in a hotel in the city, as soon as the bus arrived, we had around 150, 200 Brazilians to receive them in the hotel. And then we got our shirt signed. I got one for her. And then, but we are very lucky that one of our friends was working at the hotel. So she took photos.
That's
she
cool.
got signatures of every single one in the team. And then, Mel as well went to a training in Jeps Cross.
Yeah.
And then she also got more signatures, and very cool.
Well, I didn't realize some of the people, the media that were down, how popular were until I showed you who I was. I think I was at the at Jeps Cross for the media open session, 15 minutes open to the media, and I was taking photos just of it. It looked cool seeing people reporting live from a complex we go to every week to watch local football. Yeah, and then I remember showing you, Pablo, and you said, "Oh, he's famous back home," and you're telling me about him. I'm like, "Wow, didn't realize who I was next to."
Yeah, exactly. There's some journalists that if you because the brand that they work for is called Global, and then if you ask any Brazilian, they would know. Oh, that guy works for TV. That guy is very known by every single one. Yeah. Sports and for years and years.
And the cool thing is we had those people playing on our stadium at High Stadium on that pitch, And when I spoke to the players afterwards, Tamirez and a whole bunch of other players from China, France, and England, they all mentioned about how they loved playing on, well, first of all, training on Martin Sports Complex and in Jeps Cross as well, but also playing on Hama Stadium, and that was one of their favourite pitches to play on. Yourself, Ali, being a local footballer that's played cup finals and regular games on these pitches, what's it like to hear that and know that these players are loving the pitches and rating them so highly as well?
Yeah, that's really cool that like professional players like on an international level are impressed with like our facilities. Like I think that's a big thing that we should be proud of, like as a state that we have those facilities. And yeah, Cooper Stadium is great. It's an awesome pitch to play on. It's a great atmosphere. I think even though it's smaller, that can actually be, like fan-wise, it can actually be a good thing because it does create that atmosphere. Yeah, it's a beautiful pitch. So yeah, it's really, really cool that they liked it so much too.
Yeah, it's fantastic to hear that. And well, let's talk about LA. We could talk about for ages, but you guys got to experience the other country as well, a part of this World Cup, New Zealand. What was that trip like to go over there and experience over there? Was it a little bit different to what it's like over here?
That was, whoa, Ali can start with that.
It was awesome. I love New Zealand.
That was your first time there or second?
First time there. Yeah. I've always wanted to go. And then when we saw that the World Cup was going to be Australia and New Zealand, Pablo and I actually just started seeing each other at that point, and we're like, hey, do you want to go? Like, because obviously you get tickets. Yeah. You can start getting tickets about a year in advance. And then we're just like, yeah, why not? Let's get games. Yeah. And then, it was just an excuse to go visit an amazing country, which it is. New Zealand is breathtaking. And being able to like follow the football along the way was just like another level.
Yeah. I think the best thing we did was renting a camper van where we could sleep and then drive around. Because if you're going to that country, you shouldn't fly. You should drive all the way. It won't take too long, but every single minute it's worth it. Yeah, for driving like around the mountains, around the coast, and
so you have a camper van, just drive and park up at the caravan park. Or,
we ended up saving money even with spending fuel, but saving money in hotel and like moving around. That was just the best option.
Yeah.
And then so you would find somewhere, it would probably be better with the World Cup being there. The hotels would have been expensive.
Yeah, literally, we could park like pretty as far as close to the stadium as we could, and then just go to the game or go to a park. Like, it was great.
Yeah. And always like looking in applications where other travelers, they post what is the best place to sleep, what is the best spot to get a hot shower, what is the best spot to take a photo. And then we were just basically like doing supermarket and going other places. Yeah. But sleeping in the best places like in New Zealand, which was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. We're hosting a World Cup, but there's also the aspect of it's almost like you are going to another country, but it's still our World Cup, which is pretty cool. So it's a unique experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it was so cool. And we would go out like because there was games on most nights. Yeah. So we would always try and find a new pub or like some of our favorite ones when we were staying in one place. Like when we were in Queenstown, we went to the same pub like 4 nights in a row. Yeah. It was a sports bar that had screens and everyone was wearing jerseys.
How late were the Australian games over there? Because we're waking up at 10 a.m. to watch some of the New Zealand games here. Were they late over there or not as?
They were pretty. They were later. Yeah. We were watching. We felt very, very welcome wearing our Australian jerseys. Yeah, by them. So it was pretty cool, feeling super comfortable when Australia was playing against Nigeria, the game they lost.
Oh yeah.
I was a little bit later over there. And then
I think 11 p.m.
Just a very good energy from them. What I felt is people from Australia, they do better inside the stadiums than people from New Zealand. I think
the energy wasn't as high.
We had a very
good point.
Interesting game. New Zealand and Switzerland. The game ended up finishing 0-0. Yep. For a home your national team is playing in your stadium. I was expecting a little bit more because if it was Brazil in Brazil, it would be insane. Or Australia in Australia would be
Australia
crazy.
really got around it in their home games. So
I think they could have done a little bit better, but the organization was fantastic. And
what were the stadiums like over there for you guys as a World Cup stadiums?
So good.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Very organized. Like,
Very nice.
FIFA had so many volunteers around, like, to help each other, and very, very polite people. That's what I felt.
Yeah, that's really cool over there. I never got to go over there, but the interstate games for me were awesome to be a part of. Well, three big ones that I went to were the Australia-Canada game, and then the semi-final Australia-England, and then the final.
Yeah.
You guys went to the final as well.
We did.
How'd you find that? Was it a little bit different to, was it a bit more comfortable or going to Sydney than New Zealand?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think because everyone was so hyped up. I mean, it's the final. It would have been better if Australia made it, but I think people were still actually there who got tickets to the semi. So it was still, they were still all riding on the high and very happy from like Australia's progress and how far we got and everything. Everyone was proud of Australia. So I think everyone's like vibes were still very, very high.
I'm pretty sure like so many people hugged the fact of Australia being in the finals and everything, because when we went to Sydney, we saw so many people from Adelaide.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And then like just for the fact of like traveling all the way to Sydney to watch the game, or even in the FanFest for the third place. And the day before I saw so many people. I was like, all right, they should have gone to the game, but like they came here, you know, like to probably to be in the final as well on the next day. But
it was that FanFest in Sydney was massive.
It was packed.
And I bumped into so many people from Adelaide, which I didn't even know were coming to Sydney. It was incredible. And people from Melbourne, I bumped into people that I met in Melbourne for the Matildas game, and now over there for that game. It was incredible. Just it's something interesting. I think it will be a little bit different when you go to Qatar or a different country.
Yeah.
Being in our own country, you might bump into more people that you know. For
sure.
Which is really cool. But I was bumping into people I see every week on the sitting in the same row as me.
exactly.
On a train as well. Like I bumped into the CEO of Football South Australia on a train. It's just anyone. Moya Dodd I bumped into in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's just people like that. It's cool. I don't think you normally. I think that's one cool thing about the World Cup. And just seeing people with their jerseys on from all around the world. I saw people from USA. You just look at each other and you smile because you're both wearing jerseys.
That's it. And that's the magic of the World Cup, I think. Even that at the men's World Cups as well. Just people wearing jerseys everywhere. And even if you have a lot of geopolitics stuff going on with your countries at these tournaments, if you're all there for football, like that stuff is second.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's you smile at them as you walk past, like you wave, you might dance. Like they probably don't even know what language you're speaking half the time, but you're still communicating in the like that one thing, which is football. Yeah. Like, and that is really the most special thing about World Cups. And it was so cool to, as you said, like see that from other nations for the women's World Cup too.
Yeah. And not only bumping into people that are the fans, but bumping into the big names, because one of my favorite things was looking on the social media and seeing where people were, because I didn't think about it at the start, but once I started realizing, all right, there's these big names in Australia and they're all coming to different states to go and cover for their whoever they're working for. But you guys in Sydney bumped into Tim Cahill, who was at the he was actually at the FanFest the same night as well that you bumped into him. But you also bumped into Ian Wright as well. What was that like to bump into those two?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was first when we saw Ian Wright. I'm an Arsenal supporter. Yeah. So that was insane. I was like, oh my God, it's Ian Wright. I need to go get a photo. Like, this is insane. My brother's not going to believe this kind of thing. And then we were sitting back down watching this, it was at the Opera House. Yep. They were doing like a Legends match where we also saw Formiga from Brazil, like a old legend, retired now, like legend women's player for the national team. And then we were just watching the game, and then we just looked like a couple spots in front of us, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Tim Cahill. And then, but no one was taking a photo with him.
It was too quiet to
like, I don't think anyone really realized. And I'm like, it's literally Tim Cahill right there. I'm just going to go walk past. Yep. And I was so nervous. Like Pablo was like, go try and get a photo. Like, go. Yeah, it was wild. It was really cool meeting him.
What was he like? Was he?
So nice. Yeah. I thought like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to take a photo or whatever. But he was like, yeah, of course. I'm like, I was like, how have you been? How are you? Kind of thing. He's like, yeah, great. Like, you enjoying the World Cup? Like, just a little chat. But it was really, really cool. That was special. Yeah. I reckon that was the greatest part, like meeting him and being able to get a photo with him. But he's like an Aussie legend.
How cool.
So-
That is cool. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things about this World Cup, seeing people like that.
Yeah, just amongst
Just
it.
just
Yeah.
randomly bumping into people like that.
So cool.
It's something special. And when I saw him at the fan fest as well, he's just sitting there with his daughter watching the game,
That's lovely.
supporting the Matildas, which was cool for the third playoff,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool. But let's talk about the final quickly before I let you go, because we could sit here for hours and just non-stop talking, because this World Cup has been something special. But the World Cup final, how did that feel being inside the stadium? That when they came out and did the closing ceremony and Tones and I singing there, I got shivers just standing there realizing how special it was. For me, it was a little bit damped on it because of I was there for the Wednesday, the loss, so it brought back those memories. So I wasn't as into it. But for you guys coming in there the day before and then seeing that night there, how did it feel for you guys to be a part of that?
Yeah, a World Cup final is always gonna be a World Cup final. Like so many activities to do outside of the stadium, so many people celebrating. It feels that this is no next day tomorrow, you know. So you win the World Cup final. Soon as you get in the stadium, it's FIFA logos. It's gonna be the World Cup a trophy, and then you just expect like a very nervous game, and then people crying or people really smiling, and
It was so much fun.
yeah.
I think we got there like 2 hours early.
Yeah.
Like, no, maybe more.
No,
maybe
we got 2
3.
hours early in the stadium.
Yeah, in the stadium, like inside. So we were walking around for ages. We were like, it was very, super positive vibes. It was so good.
It was cool. I didn't go in too early because I knew once I get in, you can't get out.
Yeah.
But I was lining up to buy a scarf, which was cool.
Yeah.
All the merchandise that was available.
Yeah,
I think they made a
Ali spent
fortune.
like a fair 2 hours trying to buy stuff because
Yeah.
the line was so big.
Yeah.
And then,
Luckily
everyone
we
was
got
trying
there
to
at the
get
end.
because they had a special for the final, which they called for shirts and scarves and
I
beanies.
got told by someone that went in. I said, just watch the line and see which one moves quicker and quickly just cut through.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and then I went on the far left and went straight through. 10-minute wait, bang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta
she
be-
did
gotta be
something.
strategic.
She
Oh,
did
I
something very
I-
similar. After waiting a little bit, she called someone that was far in front, and then she said, "Okay, I will give you money. Can you buy that for me, please?"
Yeah, girl,
And
an
the
American
lady
girl.
from American.
And she did it for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'll give you cash if you buy me a scarf. And she did it.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Very, very
Yeah,
cool.
she ended up saving a little bit of money because she was using Visa, so
Yeah.
it takes a
Yeah.
little bit of.
Oh, that's
Same
clever.
thing.
I didn't have
Yeah.
Visa, so I was paying full price.
Yeah, same as us, to be honest.
That was good.
But that's what's something cool about if you in 10, 20 years time, what was one moment for you both that you will look back on and go, you can't believe you had that experience, or
As experience.
anything about this World Cup that you absolutely loved?
Maybe the Brazil game.
Yeah, Brazil game
Yeah.
is like one of the because it's in your city, I was like, okay, I'm a super fan of Grêmio, okay, and then there was journalists in Brazil interview me. They made an interview with me, and then I was so passionate talking about like how the score was gonna be, where I was from, and then my team Grêmio posted my interview because I was cheering them, and then that was very, very cool. So when I saw like, I was scrolling up because nobody tagged me, I just saw Grêmio posting. It was like, that's me. That's
I
you
think
in the
it was
background.
like 12:30 or maybe 1 a.m. And then I just hear a shout like, oh my God, Grêmio shared my interview. Like, massive club.
Yeah.
And and I'm just like, calm down. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. These experiences that people get, those moments, will last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just for the fact also for traveling to another country, being
Yeah.
involved, especially in Dunedin.
Dunedin, yeah.
Dunedin. We went there. Was a uni. It's more a uni vibe city. Many young people, and then we were watching Colombia against Germany, if I'm not wrong, where Colombia won against Germany, and then there was so many Europeans supporting Germany, and then South Americans supporting Colombia, and then like that pub went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We also, something very special in Dunedin as well, when we were watching a game and Brazil were playing France after.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, we were deciding where we were going to go watch the game because obviously it was a massive game for Brazil as well. I was like, oh, well, should we go to a pub, wherever? Pablo bumped into someone, a French lady.
Yes. Yeah. So we went to watch the game before was Sweden and Italy, and then there was a lady wearing French shirt with a French flag, and then I asked her, "Oh, do you know where the Brazil and France game is gonna be?" And then she said, "Oh, we have a community, a French community, and we're gonna show the game. And then you guys are invited to support Brazil." And then we ended up going there. It was a house. I think they teach French there.
Yeah.
And they put in the screen, the big screen. So people from Switzerland, people from France went to support the French national team, and then we were just both of us
Supporting Brazil.
representing Brazil. But they were so lovely.
So
to us.
lovely.
That's fantastic.
It was like a family. Like there was little kids there.
Pretty much like
they
a family.
had like a table, but like all like dip and like veggies, hummus and everything like that. And like they gave us mulled wine, and they were all like speaking to us, giving us hugs, wanting to put like makeup on it, like the face paint and like
Brazilian
like,
face paint or
this is
French?
really- well, we got Brazil.
Because they just had their colors. They were like trying to be like, oh, let's do some blue with this. Just, yeah. But yeah, it was very cool. I
That's
was
cool.
singing my anthem like
It was
super
really
well, and the kids looking, you're like, oh, what is that guy doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
that was a
really
very,
sweet.
very, it was a great moment.
Yeah, it's fantastic. They're the things that I love about this World Cup. Everyone's got that
Exactly.
one story, I think, that will stick with them forever.
Yeah. Such lovely people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that really, really, really touched my heart. It's about two moments. One was Morocco qualifying.
Yep.
That was massive for a team that lost 6-0 in the first game to Germany. Team that beat Colombia and then beat the last game was massive for their countries. But another one was Panama scoring 3 goals against France.
Yep.
Was incredible. Like they lost every single game, but you know sometimes they just see half of the glass full instead of seeing empty. Like they could be crying for losing the 3 games,
Yeah.
but they were celebrating
Yeah.
for the 3 goals that they scored.
Yeah,
It was like it really touched my heart.
Yeah.
Like that moment.
that was special. And for me, having met someone from Panama when they were in Adelaide, the
Yeah.
media, I was messaging them afterwards, and it was just the tears for them because I knew how special it was for those players
Yeah.
to be in a World Cup and let alone score against France, which was very special, a special moment. And that's the one thing, we all meet someone and then get that attachment to the
Yeah.
to those countries.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the special about the World Cup. You know,
Yeah.
like it's a battle, but no blood, no no
Exactly.
weapons, no anything.
Yeah.
It's just on the ball, and it's just like, you know, it's a sport at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me and sharing your stories. I think you got a lot more to share, but
Yeah, we would talk about.
Could talk about it for hours.
yeah.
I know we got to do like a big one now. I can just go for. I should try and do the world record for the longest podcast ever and just
You
keep talking to
should.
people
Yeah.
all day long about the World
I
Cup.
feel like anyone could really talk about football for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes I'm going to do with this because I think I can just ring up many people around that I've met
Definitely.
around the time. People from overseas that all came for the World Cup. Everyone's got a different story, side of the story, which is cool. So
Okay.
thank you.
I've got a question to Ali, all right, about the first World Cup,
all right.
the Qatar World Cup.
About Qatar.
Yes,
The
she was
second World
what
Cup.
exactly. She was last year in November, right?
Yeah.
December. When Messi scored their goal against Argentina, did you celebrate or not?
Okay, I did. I did celebrate.
Against Australia.
Yes, but I couldn't contain. I was what?
Good question, Pablo.
It's so
know,
hard.
you know.
You're seeing one of the best the best player in the
Yeah.
world, an idol, and like he's in front of you, and you're like a part of. Even though it's Australia, right? You're like, oh my gosh, go, and then shoots and scores, and like there
Yep.
was definitely a moment where I was cheered inside, and then straight after it was like, oh no,
It's
but
against
now
us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
because-
But that's it. You never get
But I
those
couldn't
moments.
help it.
Yeah, when you're going to get a moment to see the
Yeah.
world's best player playing against your country
Yeah.
in a World Cup.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
You know?
But yeah.
So yes, I celebrated,
It's
but
definitely something
Yeah.
you're
I
gonna
was
achieve in your
sad
life. I
straight
saw
after.
Messi go in the World Cup.
Yes.
They won.
yes,
Yep. And in the World Cup that they won the World
Yeah,
Cup.
exactly.
That's now looking back on it, it's a special moment.
It is.
yeah, it was really cool. And we got to see France as well, like play Australia too, and they went
Yeah.
final as well. So
There you go. Well,
Yeah,
there's
incredible.
many stories. See, Pablo, great question. We could be here forever
Thank you,
talking.
Pablo.
We could be talking World Cup forever.
Thank
But
you.
thank you both for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and we'll hopefully get you back on eventually to talk about your own careers, and we'll probably sneak a bit more World Cup chat in there maybe as well.
always,
Exactly.
always room
Beautiful.
for that.
It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much, Johnny.
No worries.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. That was Ali Atkins and Pablo Fagundes. Make sure you subscribe to Kicking It Local wherever you get your podcasts so you can get a taste of the SA football community. Plus, follow Kicking It Local SA on Instagram and Twitter so you don't miss any of the action. See you soon.